because allegedly, we just witnessed Edge's last match. Edge this past week on SmackDown had his last match not his last match, but had a match against Sheamus in front of the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. After the match, he went on to say he does know for a fact, he doesn't know like what the future holds. He does know that this is probably going to be his last time performing in front of that specific crowd. So one can assume that he was talking about Toronto. And so if that's the case, is he staying in WWE? Is he retiring in WWE? Is he going to AEW? What's next for Edge? So I wanted to kind of know briefly, Mo, what do you think is next for Edge? Does he stay in WWE and retire? Does he go to AEW for a little run and then retire? What's going on?
I don't think that's his last match. I mean, he said he doesn't even know. But I don't think that there's really anything for him to do in WWE. Like, I feel like when I was anticipating Edge coming back, I had a different idea in mind. I left off on the person that we all seen, the heel rated R version of Edge. And we kind of got like a dad version of him, a very babyface dad version. And I feel like because that's just the version we got presented of with Edge, his goal ultimately with WWE was to get some guys over to work with a few people to create a few things. He did leave doing a lot. I will give him his flowers for that. But I do feel like if this is what all is going to get out of Edge, I kind of do want to see him still wrestle, but I want to see him do something else. If you're not going to give me like the rated R that I had like back then, and you're going to give me like this boring shit that I had gone on in WWE, I feel as though it wouldn't really hurt if he went to AEW, but instead of him having a singles run, since I kind of don't care to see him have too many singles runs, I would actually love to see him just tag up with Christian again and them take over the tag team division. Like, I know a lot of people were saying like, oh, like, he shouldn't go to AEW, because he's basically WWE coded, which he is, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing, because not for nothing. In some ways, Dynamite, I look at Dynamite and Collision being so different from each other. I feel like Dynamite reminds me of WWE, then Collision is like when I actually want to see like the indie type shit, but it's like, it's full on like wrestling as opposed to the entertainment. I feel like you could really do something with Edge and Christian and put them on Dynamite together. Have them take over the tag team division, have them uplift everyone. I want to see them work with younger people and help get them over. Maybe like create more character and stories out of the tag team division. So I feel like he should do that, to be honest. I don't really care to see him work with any other younger people here with WWE. But the only thing is that, I was watching that Edge match, and it wasn't a bad match. It really wasn't. Like, there's something to say that was bad about it. It was just slow. And I'm not sure if that has to do with him being safe. And you see the way that the wrestlers wrestle in AEW. They are at lightning speed. And Christian can still go. Christian could actually keep up with those people. Edge, I noticed in general, like, you have to slow down to wrestle with Edge. So that's my only ick if he were to go to AEW. Does everyone have to adjust and wrestle super duper slow? Because he wrestles very classic. Very, very classic-like. So I don't know how he's going to balance well with everyone that likes to do flips and tricks and all that stuff. But do I still want to see him do something? Yes, I do want to see Edge do something. And do I think that with my heart and soul he's going to AEW? Not immediately. But I feel like I need to see an Edge and Christian appearance one more time, because you cannot just cock tease me and leave me off of what I saw at that one Royal Rumble. That was criminal.
Right.
Give me that. Just give me that and I'll shut all the way the fuck up. All right. But what did you think?
It's interesting because I started off thinking, he's just going to call it quits. But now that I think about it, it does make sense for him to go to AEW. One of the things he kind of mentioned was that he has to talk it over with his family. His contract expires in September. We don't know when in September. That could be September 1st or it could be September 30th. God knows when. But, I think that it's just when it comes to Edge, he said that before he retires, he wants to have a run with Christian. There was one time some weird stalker guy on the internet was like, stalking Christian and like saw him meeting with a WWE official, but I think it's more likely for Edge
Weirdo,
to
by
go
the
to
way.
huh?
Said a weirdo, by the way.
Yeah,
But go
super
on.
weird. But I think it's more realistic for Edge to go to AEW than it is for Christian to go to WWE. And
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to that last run with Edge and Christian, I think that if Edge were to go to AEW, there are some things that I would like to see for the last time. Edge and Christian versus the Young Bucks, Edge and Christian versus the Hardys, Edge and Christian versus FTR. We know that Edge has a personal relationship with FTR as a tag team. So there are some possibilities there. And I think that that's a very, very realistic goal for him to go to AEW. I think he's done everything that he could in WWE between the establishment of the Judgment Day. His matches with Seth were great. His work with AJ was really, really good. He came to WWE and he did what he was supposed to do, and he did what he said that he was going to do. He put over Roman Reigns. Like he was a part of some pretty big moments in the last 3 to 4 years of pro wrestling in WWE, I should say. So I definitely think that the next move for him would be AEW. Now, the question bigger than that is, do you think that he'll show up at All Out in Chicago?
Oh, that'd be nasty.
That would be that would be crazy.
That'd be so nasty. But I could see Tony doing it.
I could see it too.
I could see him finessing that because Edge has nothing to lose. Like, it's not like he didn't give to WWE. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They gave WWE like one of their a top 10 moment that will go down in history with his return at the Royal Rumble. He created a whole behind faction that's now taking on a whole life of its own. He put on some classics while in WWE, worked with some top stars. And he even went down to NXT. Like, he blessed them. Like, he did everything he had to do. So I don't think he's risking anything if he goes to AEW, because it's not really out of disrespect. If by your theory, as you were stating earlier, they're not actually against one another in competition. Because if it's another one of those where it's just they kind of just scratching each other's backs, I don't think that's a bad move. It's kind of almost like cross promoting, if you will. Like, hey, like we had Edge for a little bit. Now we're gonna let you borrow him. You know what I mean? We're gonna give you all the star power.
Right. I think that'll be a good move. But yeah, that was literally the perfect way to end it. So we want to know what y'all feel. Do you think Edge is retiring or is he going to AEW? Let us know in the comments. But that concludes